Thank you so much, Henrik. Because we're running a little late, we may try to postpone some questions to this afternoon when we have a little bit more time, but I want to make sure we have time for Sanny before lunch. People are starting to get hungry. So one of the great things I just want to say about Powering Precision Health is that we do try to bring together a variety of perspectives. So it's really kind of unique. Obviously, this research is fascinating. We also have here with us Sanny Lindstrom, who's played professional hockey in Sweden and is going to share really a personal story about his own experience with concussions. I think will help bring to life a lot of what Henrik has just discussed. So please welcome Sanny Lindstrom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Quite inspirational speech. And if I get invited next year, I might have the same beard as Henrik. So we'll see about that. Anyhow, my name is Sanny Lindstrom. I'm living with a damaged brain. I played professional hockey for 13 years, including the Swedish league. I played 3 years in North America. Sweetest place on earth, Hershey. As you mentioned, you were in Hershey Park when I talked to you last night. So, very nice place. And I played 1 year in Switzerland as well. I played 58 games for the Swedish national team. I won a bronze medal. You can always debate whether you win a bronze medal or you're actually a loser. But I would like to say we won a bronze medal. And to rub it in a little bit to my new German friend, which I can't see here, who's quite interesting in hockey. We beat Germany in the third place, so I won a bronze medal. I also won a SM Guld, which is a Swedish champion with Färjestad in 2011. 438 games in the Swedish league. I played my last game in October of 2012, and I had to quit due to post-concussion symptoms, which still today is with me every day. Since I quit playing hockey, I'm working for the Swedish television for Seymour and TV4, who we cover the Swedish league and also World Championship, World Juniors, for example. I also write about hockey in a blog for Expressen, the second largest newspaper in Sweden. And therefore, I had quite a big platform and quite a big window to speak about concussion, which is very close to me, which I had no clue about 6 years ago almost. I had no clue about concussion. I didn't know how it could affect you, your family, your life, your everything. So now I feel it's one of my biggest work or mission is to inform other people about that. And this is from the Swedish league, and this is how it looks. This is how I have been playing and how it still looks, which quite honest pisses me off.
En grej till då, nu kommer vi till det som du är lite sur på.
Ja, men alltså,
eller sur på, men det är ett viktigt ämne. Det
är någonting jag brinner för. Det handlar om ett ansvar från spelare och ledare. Här åker Alexander Hellström på en riktig kyss. Jag tänker inte diskutera huruvida tacklingen är schysst eller inte. Det får andra bedöma där. Men den tar uppenbarligen upp på huvudet. Titta på Alexander Hellström när han kliver upp.
Ja, ser
ju knappast jättepigg ut, va? Kommer ut i båset. Rapporterna då från arenan säger att när han kommer ut i båset ser väldigt tilltufsad ut. Jo, men Alexander Hellström, det är en tuff rackare, eller hur grabbar? Ja?
Men
han är tuff, han går ut och spelar och biter ihop. Jag tycker att det här är för jävligt.
Sanny, det här har du tagit upp.
That's normal. That's quite normal, actually. I've been that player. You see him, can barely stand on his feet. He just want to show character and keeps playing, because that's how you're born and raised in sports, in many sports, not only hockey. And there's always a big game. Whether you're 12, you're 15, or you're playing the NHL, there's always the big game. Next game is always big. If you're 12 or 14, there might be a scout at the game. You can't throw in the towel. You have to perform. And what is a concussion? Could anyone tell? Yeah, I could tell now. But one person who never had a concussion, I'm a little bit dizzy. I felt I got hit to the head, but I'm not sure if it's a concussion. I feel a little bit out of myself. Is that a concussion? Who's supposed to tell? And always when I talk about this in TV or write in my blog about concussions, this is what I meet. Your way about talking about concussion are a big threat to the game of hockey. It's not. It's to inform, because I wasn't informed. You have to be informed about the risk. There's a risk in life. There's a risk about playing hockey. If I know now if I knew when I played what I know now, I would have played quite different. Because that's the next thing that always comes up. But you were the meanest guy. I were. I had coaches told me before games, take that guy out in a playoff game. Take him out. I took him out so bad. He got concussion. He couldn't play for 2 or 3 months. And I knew the guy. I played with him in the national team. But that's what the coach told me, and that's what I did, because that was kind of my job. And another thing, that I was always reliable, that I always showed up to play, no matter what. And it's kind of sad for me to stand here today to tell you that I have no clue how many concussions I had during my career. Was it 10, 15, or 20? I think it's close to 15, which I'm embarrassed of myself telling you that in front of all you, because after 4 concussions, you might have told me, Sanny, you might think about the next one. No one told me. To show a little bit how I used to play, which it's put everything in a sense when I'm standing here, this was kind of how I played.
Visning. Jättman. Och det tar tvärstopp. Han ser ut att ha riktigt ont. Titta här. Bra fart. Och axeln upp. De vinkar in en domare direkt. Lindstrom kommer och sätter upp axeln. Hur gick det där?
Här var en match i publikens smak. Bra fart, många målchanser och en och annan riktig propp. Sanny Lindstrom visar den yngre generationen att det här inte är någon isdans.
That's me getting hit. The white guy there. You can see me stumble off the ice. That was on a Tuesday. I played Thursday. I could barely...
Varit så under andra perioden. Riv och slit och Klebom tar den. Vilken crosschecking från Jesse Johansson. Rakt upp i ansiktet på Sanny Lindström. Vad gör Johansson? Han kommer att definitivt bli utvisad.
That was me. I lost 2 teeth after that. And I remember it was a playoff game, so it was a big game, of course. It's always the big game. I was laying down in the locker room right after. It was in the end of the second period. I didn't play the third. And it was like worms coming out in front of my eyes. And I didn't tell anyone, because 2 days after we had the big game. It was a playoff game. I had to show up and play. And that's why I always speak about this. You can always show character, whether it's a shoulder or elbow or knee, but when you get hit to the head, you should never bite the bullet. You should always tell, and you should always step off the ice. And that's kind of my mission, to inform. And why didn't I do that? Why didn't I step off the ice? Yeah, I didn't know about concussion. Would have been happy if it would have been a blood marker, for example. Hell yeah, somebody else could have told me that you might have to step off the ice. My life changed in 2012. October was not a hard hit. It was just one too many. And from that day on, and still today, my life changed. All of a sudden, I was sensitive to noise. I couldn't be in rooms where there was too much noise. Some of you might have noticed that I left earlier last night and I put earplugs in my ear because I had to close out the noise. Still today. Sensitive to light, which I'm not today. I couldn't even drive a car for 20 minutes. I got a headache. I had to lay down the rest of the day. I have difficulty with concentration. At this point, even though with the obvious sign, no one told me that I had a concussion. Difficult concentration. I couldn't watch a movie for an hour and a half because I didn't know how it started, the movie, how it started. I couldn't concentrate. I was forgetful. I could walk to the store and I go there and I was like, what should I get now? I needed, of course, a list, but at this point, I was starting doubting myself. Oh, it's just an illusion. I'm just pretending. It's not, of course I know what I was going to get. Any people could forget. Sleeping problems. Could barely sleep. every night was the same. And every morning when I woke up, I just woke up, I opened my eyes. I said, one of those days. One of those days where the headache's gonna be there. One of those days where I can't stand, I hate to say it, my family. I had 2 kids. I was aggressive. It was eating me from inside. And they were telling me, it's because you're not playing hockey. You don't get all the frustration out because you used to hit. You used to get mad at people. Now when you can't play, of course you're aggressive. Is that how my life is going to be when I'm not playing hockey? Am I going to be an aggressive person? And I'm going to be one of those persons. Sometimes I couldn't be in the same room as my kids. My youngest daughter was 2, and my oldest was 6 at the time. I couldn't be around them. I had to walk down in the basement when I get pissed off. Neighbors, they pulled out the car in front of me. I was just screaming at them. I was screaming, I would get so mad. My daughter started crying in the back. But no one told me I had concussion. Mental fatigue, which is, how could a guy playing hockey, making a lot of money, doing the work, being the toughest guy, how could that be mental fatigue? I wasn't weak. But no one told me I had concussion. Sadness, I was so sad, oh my God. I was crying for myself. I couldn't talk to my wife about it. And still to this day, sometimes I just bite the bullet, dig in, just to not show that I'm weak, or still tough for me. Sadness, of course, but no one dealt with it. And headache, of course, every day, pretty much every day. It could come in the morning, or if it didn't come in the morning, it came at 3, and then I was out. I couldn't do anything. If I was lucky, it was at 6 o'clock, then at least I could take care of the kids when they come home. We could have a nice dinner before I had to go. But at the time, no one told me there was a concussion. Everybody had different solution. Since I was quite open about this already at the time, that I had problems. People called me, they could actually fix me, that I could keep playing hockey and didn't need all this problem, just to get a siren in the neck for a cost of 10,000 euros. Just one would be fine. I had obviously balance of salt and minerals was not good. That was the reason why I had all this problem. But no one told me I had concussion. It was the radiation under my house. That's a good one. Displacement in the neck vertebra, might have been, yeah. But how could a guy go from playing professional, show up every night, to be this weak, just from one day to another? I would have needed help, and I didn't. Yeah, it was the other way around. It was also, the hip was crooked and it affected my neck, of course, so I didn't get the blood flow, which the neck is a big thing, of course, when you have headaches. I agree with that. Acupuncture, massage. You read that word because every time I say it in my head in English, I say it, but as soon as it comes out my mouth, it just sounds differently. So just read it, okay? But it wasn't a concussion. They had all the different excuses. And I felt I didn't get the help that I needed. How could I go from professional hockey, where you have doctors, trainers, you have everything, just to be by myself? And I pretty much every week or every other week, I talk to hockey players that are getting hit, young as old, and they ask me, should I keep playing? No, you shouldn't keep playing. But as soon as you're not able to play, there's always a replacement for you. I was one of the captains. They asked me, should we take the bus one day earlier to the next game, or should we fly that game? From that point, when I get injured, it was just a matter of finding a new guy. It was just a replacement. So that's what I tell everyone. It's a business. That's what it is. After almost 7 months with this problem, it went so far. I was, as I said, the aggression was eating me from inside. I used to be quite laid back, I think. I believed I was. Pretty easygoing. Just love being with my family, which I, of course, still do. But at the time, I couldn't do anything. The most saddening thing I ever heard was my 6-year-old daughter at the time. She whispered in her best friend's ear. I heard it. I overheard it. She said, "My dad can't play with me because he has a concussion." How do you deal with that? This is how it's going to be the rest of my life. After 7 months, I was so worn down that we were in Norway. My wife is from Norway. It was May 17th. If you've never been in Norway on May 17th, I recommend you go there. It's very nice with the National Day in Norway. It's super nice. But for a guy that's been for 7 months feeling sick, feeling bad, have headaches, to be in a crowded areas like that for a whole day, not being able to rest, it's not good. In the afternoon, me and my wife just started arguing about some small things, and I just lost it. I was down on the rock bottom, and I just started crying. I just left the room we were in. I just started running away, started walking away, and she was after me. What's going on? Because at the time, I haven't told her, because I didn't know myself what my problem was. I never said it was, I was in a dark place. I wouldn't go that far to say I was suicide, like could take suicide. Of course, I'm not saying that, but I was in a really dark place, and at the time I didn't get any help whatsoever. I've been to a neurologist, which she asked me to walk on a line. She asked me to carry weights from one table to another. I was an elite athlete. That wasn't my problem. So after 7 months, I was down at the rock bottom. I said, I need help. So when I came back from Norway, I called my neurologist and said, you need to help me. It's not working. I can't take this anymore. And I actually met with occupational therapy, which saved my life, that's for sure. It was kind of going from playing hockey, professional level, to sit in this room with this occupational. It was 2 different worlds. But that she basically saved my life. And why? For the first time, she asked me, how did I feel? With a psychologist was there as well. We were talking, and I was just crying. I was crying for 20 minutes. I was just crying. It came out for 7 months. The sadness, everything came out. She said, how do you feel? And for first time, after that, I could actually tell my wife, my kids, my surroundings, that this is how I actually feel. She was asking, did I make changes in my life? Of course I did changes in my life. What I believed. But from an elite athlete in any sports, you're used to pretty high speed. You do your practice, you come home, take care of the family, and then there's always next game. You have to prepare yourself. That's how I still live my life. So she asked me, write down what you're doing for 1 week. And then I came back 1 week after, and she showed me a lady that fell off her horse, and this is what she's doing, this is what you're doing. You're doing way too much. You have to, if you go to the grocery store, that's pretty much the thing everything you're doing that day. So that made me do changes in my life, which still today. That's why I came here one day earlier. I came Monday night, because yesterday I knew I had to sleep, because I knew there was the dinner last night and today, and I know this tomorrow it's going to hurt me, and also on Friday. Did I listen to my body? No, I didn't. I just kept up the way I always did. If I just bite the bullet today, I'm going to feel better tomorrow. It's going to be okay. It was never okay. And for the first time, I talked about the sadness. Of course, it was a sadness of leaving hockey, which the game I love. At the beginning there, I would love everyone to play hockey. Hockey is the best thing, but we have to make changes in hockey. We have to make changes in the way we look at concussions. But of course, it was a sadness for me not being able to play. And for the most foremost, it's not only an illusion. Which, for 7 months, you start doubting yourself when there's no marker, there's nothing that can tell you that you actually have a concussion. And every day I was outside, people telling me, oh, you look good today. Oh, I see. Oh, you're back on track. But no one knows how I felt in here. No, even your doctors, you're top of the world here. You can't tell me how I feel right now. And the first time somebody talked to me about easily traumatic brain injury for the first time. Putting words what that was. Of course, I could have read everything, but if you can't take it in, it doesn't matter what you read. So of course, after this, I've been reading quite a lot about it and going to stuff like this, which I'm very excited about. Brain, mental, and psychological fatigue. What does that mean? What takes from yourself to be able to go the longer day, to take care of your kids, to take care of what's important for you? And this was also, elite athletes often have tougher to rehabilitation after traumatic brain injuries. As I said, they're used to just show character and sort of bite the bullet, sort of speech. And prepare yourself for life without hockey, which was something that comes to everyone, that you have to change work one day, but I didn't do it on my own permissions, which now when I look at after, barely no one does. It's always something that end up why you have to quit with sports, whether you're not good enough, even if you always think yourself you're good enough, or injuries or anything like that. And after that, I went home and just, okay, I'm gonna quit playing hockey. After I spoke with her, it was obvious for everyone, even though I knew before that it's gonna be hard, but after that I know for sure I'm not gonna play hockey. And I wrote in a local newspaper in Karlstad. That's the quote from my daughter that Daddy never plays because he had a concussion. And after this, people from all around Sweden called and emailed me and stuff and said it was so relieving to somebody talk about this, talk about the problems. Because I was really open in that one and actually tell how I felt, which I told here now. And I think that could make a change for hockey, for sports, that we have to inform. Because no 12-year-old, no dad or mom to a 12-year-old can know what a hit to the head means. And I'm not an expert like you guys are, but I can imagine what happened to a kid's brain, a 10-year-old if they get a hit, compared to a grown. I guess it's more dangerous with a kid. So we need to start talking about this. It's not scaring people away from hockey. It's just telling the risk. They might have to do some rule changes as well. And this is basically my life. Some of you probably saw I put those here in yesterday in my ears. But it's also how you squeeze them together. You know, if you squeeze them together a little bit, they come back out. If you squeeze them a little bit harder, it takes a little bit longer for them to come out. If you squeeze them, and when they're not all the way out, you squeeze them again and again, it takes a while for them to get back to normal size. And that's how my life is. Now, today, I'm not afraid that I'm gonna be headache tomorrow. I'm not afraid of that because I know in the next 2 days it's gonna be okay. But before I felt if I did too much, oh, this is how I'm gonna have this, it's gonna be like this bad for the rest of my life. Now I made the concussion worse. But now this day I know. And not every day is not bad for me, not at all. I work twice a week for the TV, I write for the newspaper, I have the best life, but I always have to make sure that I have energy for the things that are important for me. And that's work, and that's family, of course. So that's basically my life. I think we should round up there, right? But if you ever question, I guess we can take to lunch.
Yeah, I think we might have time for a couple questions.
Yeah, and if you want to contact me or anything like that, there's information there, and that's the Twitter one down. I also have LinkedIn where you can reach me. So if you have any question or want to get in contact with me, just let me know. So.
Incredible.
I would like to say, first of all, thank you so much for bringing light to what we would call post-concussive syndrome. You're describing your state in life, and throughout many of these PPH summits, we've had a lot of former football players, former soldiers describe this, and part of it is like, what do we do about this? And so having you do this inspires a lot of people in this room to go the extra mile, because the culture of the game, the culture of war, the culture of the way we interact can be transformed if we can get more objective with blood biomarkers, meaning that so much of this is subjective in descriptions that no one can really put like some objectivity to it. And I liken it to the cigarette smoking leading to cancer. At one time, cigarette smoking, everyone was doing it, but no one understood the implications of it. And so one area is post-concussive syndrome, and how can we prevent it? But then there's drugs, there's companies in this room that are actually working on making people like yourself feel protect against this. What kind of technologies might be able to change the culture and gain to protect against it, and to help people learn how to deal with this, and maybe prevent children from getting exposed to this in a way that as they grow up they can watch their biomarkers and have a better informed understanding, and their parents can, to prevent children from getting exposed to this in a way that as they grow up they can watch their biomarkers and have a better informed understanding, and their parents can, to the implications of all of this. So there's so many dimensions to this topic that it may not sometimes be obvious, but everyone in this room is all part of the community that can really change this if we can get it objective versus today where it feels feels somewhat subjective. And you heard Henry talk about when's the moment that it triggers into like the next stage of neurodegeneration and creating some of the feelings and the trauma that you feel. So I just got to say that it just wakes us all up, and thank you so much for doing it. This wasn't a question, just a thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. And to just make clear, I didn't know anything about concussion. Like I said, I took guys out. I delivered more concussion probably than I get, and I'm ashamed of it. But from what I know now, I know there's some rule changes that have to be made. And as I said, when I went to the neurologist the first time, it didn't really help me, because it was all inside of me. There was no measurement. There was nothing. So if there could be a measurement, I mean, that could help a lot of individuals in sports. That could be, I think that could be the key and the next thing. But also, it's business. Hockey is big business. NFL, football is big business. If they take this in, if they take this in, it might actually be a threat for them. Because you're going to have black on white that this individual shouldn't be playing. So I think it's very, very important, but of course some challenging as well. But I'm very happy to be here to share my story, and I'm really hoping for this, your thing with the blood measurement and everything, that it could be key to change for people like me in the next generation. And it's needed, because we've been standing there for quite a long time now. Just the only one that knows how you feel is yourself, and it's quite questionable. You start questioning yourself, and then when you question yourself, you start playing, and you get this other hit, and then you're done. So that would be a key thing to change the sport and for boys and girls out there. So hopefully it's going to go well.
All right, so I'm told lunch is actually waiting for us upstairs. So maybe we can have some questions during lunch with Sandy and Henrik, and there may be a little bit of time later in the afternoon we can have a more open Q&A. So please go to lunch.